Hey everyone, Dave here yet again. We're back for another live stream, joined by Jenna, of course, as always. And today we're going to be talking about branding your channel. Just starting this channel. Just going. But we also want to thank some of the new members that are watching from our guests who may have shared the link in many, many places. So if you're a first-time member, come back weekly, and you guys should enjoy the show. But I think we got something really important to start the show out with.
Yes, we do have something really important. So, when we put on these live shows, it's this huge group effort. Besides me and Dave up here, of course, we have a special guest. We've got our producer doing the work of 3 people in the background.
I think it's more like 4 or 5, but who knows?
And we have a guy who is actually monitoring your comments and bringing them to us on our nice little computer here so that we can respond to them. And today happens to be his birthday.
Is he 50?
I don't know. I think he's getting really old, though. It's our intern, Danny, and we ordered coffee from him at VidCon, which was in, June?
Yeah, we still never got that.
Never got it. But for your birthday, Daddy, we forgive you.
So, yeah, Danny helps out quite a bit with these live shows, bringing the best of the best comments to the top of the list where we can just see them and focus on that. And, even in general, when it comes to running Social Blade, we operate it sort of as a community, a group thing. So we got to rely on everybody. And Danny, 2 thumbs up.
Well, 4.
Well, wide shot, Jay. Wide shot.
There we go.
We planned this out so well.
Yes. But it's the joy of a live show. So we are talking about branding your channel today. And what is branding, Dave?
That's where you get this image of a picture and you slap it on everything so that it's all the same. So like when you get your bag of mac and cheese and it's got that brand on there, that's brand.
So you see this here.
Ooh, branding. I didn't even know we had brand back there.
Yes. It's also on Dave's shirt.
I like this branding thing.
Yes. And of course, you see it all over our website, our Twitter, our YouTube. Anywhere you see that logo, you immediately know it's Social Blade. That's what we've done. We've branded it. So we have a guy here to talk to us about some branding today. His name is John Eddy. He's an electronic musician known as Solar Heavy. And he is joining us today to talk a little bit more about channel branding and how you can go ahead and do that.
Cool. So, John, welcome to the show.
Hello, guys. How are you doing?
We are doing great. How about yourself?
Fantastic. Brandon myself over here, if you didn't notice. We got the idea, don't we? We got the idea.
Yes.
So, let's talk just a little bit about branding, not on t-shirts, but on your YouTube. One of the things that you can do at the very beginning is the more authority you have from the start, have a generalized plan for your artwork. And if it correlates to your art and music, that's even better. So something you can do is different types of artwork for your playlists, but keep the same logo layered throughout all of the different aspects of your channel. So your banner, your avatar, and your playlist. But you can change it, the contrast, the hues, different things like that. And that still gives people a kind of a way to recognize in the back of their mind, okay, if I see this logo a bunch of times repetitively throughout YouTube, maybe I'll stop by this channel, see what's going on, and see what this is all about. So, always go in with a generalized idea about your design, and that's a great way to start.
That sounds great. I know one thing that I'm always telling people with their thumbnails is that you want to do, you might have different images for your thumbnails. You want to do something consistent on all of them. That way, if somebody's doing a search on YouTube and a whole bunch of your videos pop up in a row, someone can immediately recognize, this person must be an authority because they've got 4 videos in this list.
What about 10 videos in the list?
Well, if you got 10 out of 10 on a search result, I am guessing that they actually searched for your channel.
That's awesome.
Yes. That's like a guaranteed view right there.
I like, guaranteed views are, well, they're guaranteed. I don't know where to go with this.
Yeah, Dave, that was kind of a dead end there, wasn't it?
They're
I
important.
walked down a dead end street and found the end.
They're targeted. They're very targeted views, and targeted views mean they're long-term views. People that'll keep coming back and watching over and over again, and that increases your retention rate, right? Your view time. That's very important.
And as we mentioned, and we have a blog post on this, audience retention is extremely important to get your ranking
Oh,
up
man.
on the top of YouTube. So you guys should probably look into that after the show. Maybe go to the top of socialplay.com and the little blog button. We're going to be writing more blogs in the future. I think it's important.
I know I'm going to be checking those out.
Oh, well, thank you. We do, when the blogs don't get published, it is my fault because, well, I'm the one who generally writes them. But it's been a crazy month here. So we've been, launching the consulting business and all that. And, I'm sure you guys have seen, if you're regular Social Blade users, that we have been also adjusting our branding across all our platforms. So this isn't just YouTube. We do the same branding on Facebook and Twitter and wherever we are. And so we've been slowly updating all of that to have a very consistent look.
Yeah, and before you know it, we're going to have some awesome branding, on every avatar. It's just going to have this marquee of dancing colored lights, and it's all going to flash at a high-paced color speed thing.
With gradients and drop shadows.
Lots of gradients and drop shadows.
And in case
Is there going to be any electronic music?
The avatars are going to play electronic music.
Oh, man.
it's going to be one of those
Sounds
things.
like a party.
Yeah, it's going to be like so irritating you have to click on it.
Or just get scared away, too, but...
I don't know. We'll have to run that by our actual web designer, see what he thinks of it. I'm kind of guessing he's going to veto
He
it.
loves gradients, though. I know Kestel, and Kestel loves gradients. And drop shadows.
Yes,
Don't you, Kestel?
gradients and drop shadows. And for those of you that don't know Kestel, he hates gradients and drop shadows.
He makes it all happen, though.
Yes, he's an amazing designer. So, is branding something then that goes beyond just the visual artwork on your channel?
I would say branding can go way beyond that. Branding can go as far as to, depending on what type of creator you are, if you're, an artist who paints and draws, or you create something more visually, your branding can go as to, you could even brand yourself with your artwork. You just make your own type of, avatars and logos, and kind of give your own type of style to that. And that even intertwines with your art even more and can create even more engagement. And with an audio aspect, of course, there's certain type of, signature sounds you can use, and people can relate, well, if I want to hear this certain type of music, I can go to this specific channel and immediately know that that's what I'm going to get. And that even comes into play when you're falling back to when we were talking about playlists and how you brand different thumbnails. It's important to, in the first, sentence of your YouTube video, to maybe type a little bit about the genre of the song. What's it about? Just so YouTube can pick that up a little easier and put it in front of the right people, So that's an important aspect of that too.
So we should think about when we consider branding, not only the visual look, but also the audio, because everybody has their own sort of style of doing things, and when it comes to music, you have that genre or style that you keep matching. But is it worth, Jenna, maybe talking about what to consider when going into the visual style of branding? Because I've seen some really, 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 really badly designed branding.
All right.
Oh, man.
So, talking from a pure SEO perspective. Now, of course, you don't get your search ranking points for a pretty design, but what you can do is increase the number of people that click on your thumbnails and your designs. And some of the things you want to do is you want to use high contrast images. So if it's a picture of a person, hike up the saturation and the contrast on that person. And remember, whatever you use, you don't want to go too detailed, because was it like over 50% of views on YouTube now are through mobile devices. So I've got a massive iPhone, but if somebody has the older iPhone, they've got this little
iPhone,
the classic iPhone,
bitty thing.
Yeah, so if they've got this smaller screen,
This one.
yeah, that one. Yeah, that one, John. So if they've got that one, and your thumbnail, you've put in 2 sentences of text and 3 pictures of people and all that, people aren't going to see that. So you want to do a high contrast image. If you're going to put text on your thumbnail, make sure it's just one, probably no more than 5 words in a nice, thick, bold font. That, again, that contrast.
Really bold.
Yes.
I like bold with drop shadows and gradients.
Actually, I would tell people to avoid drop shadows and gradients on thumbnails.
Okay, no drop shadows, no gradients.
And then,
So talking
go ahead.
talking about that a little bit, have you guys ever seen any about like for small phones and seeing the logo? Have you seen any of the thumbnails where they have like some type of banner in the middle and maybe they'll just change the coloring behind it, like the layer behind the middle center picture, anything like that? That's kind of a good way to stand out on a smaller phone, just the coloration behind the center branded image.
Yeah, that is
Have you
something.
seen anything like that?
You know, I've seen that. Not so much on the center, but I've seen people that'll do like, kind of like we've started doing on our channel, where you cut off your corners and they're always the same, and then you can change that middle image. You know, or people that do the same image, almost the same image every time on their thumbnail. And of course, it really depends on the genre you're in. Like John, you're in music, so I imagine most of your thumbnails are very, very similar.
Oh yeah, I actually do. I switched over to a more of like a Polaroid still image of whatever the video material consists of, and behind that I just layered, a Hubble space picture. NASA does a cool thing where they promote free images from the Hubble telescope, and you can just use those in anything to completely copyright free. So definitely have done that.
That's cool. So we do have some questions and comments coming in. Of course, our intern is doing a fabulous job. But if you guys do have questions, do put them in the chat on the YouTube feed or tweet at us or whatever at Social Blade, and we will find your comments. But we have one that was posted by Platinum Fire MC. He says, should I add my YouTube logo to all of my thumbnails?
That's going to depend on what your logo is. Again, if it's a complex logo, you probably don't want to add that to all your thumbnails. What you might do then is make like a shortened version of your logo. So for instance, McDonald's. We're all familiar with McDonald's, right?
Yeah.
Their whole logo is actually the whole word
Who's
McDonald's. John doesn't know about McDonald's.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, man. But, a shortened version of them would just be McD. And so something like that, just creating a shortened version to put on your thumbnails. And yeah, I would recommend branding all your thumbnails, because remember, when somebody does a search on YouTube or on Google and your videos are coming up, your avatar isn't coming up next to those. They're just seeing your video thumbnails. And so just doing something that's consistent across all the thumbnails so people recognize it as your content.
Yeah, definitely something consistent there. Even if it's just a part of a logo or something that just is always in the same general area of your thumbnail, so it's easy to recognize, so that people are scrolling through the list and they see that photo, they're like, oh, Dave made that video, it must be fantastic. We have another question here by Alex. He says, will these branding techniques work for me? I get about 80,000 views per month. And, well, nice thing is, branding works for anyone, and it can really help a channel.
Oh, yes.
No matter which type of views you're getting. I mean, if you're just starting out, it's nice to start out doing this, but if you're getting a lot of views, I mean, it could still definitely help you, and you want to be consistent.
I think it's all in the details.
Yeah.
Details.
Well,
The more details you have, the better it can be for your channel.
yeah. And something else with branding is that we see with a lot of the bigger YouTubers, now they're able to take that branding that they've created, this whole brand, they're able to take it off of YouTube. For instance, like you've seen Dave's Social Blade shirts. That's something that we at Social Blade do now. We have t-shirts and mugs and all sorts of stuff with our logo on it, and people will buy them because it's our brand. It's recognizable. And I know, John, I see your t-shirt. So you've carried your brand offline as well. So it's really something that you want to go ahead and do. If you haven't done it already, just go ahead and start doing it. Start getting people to associate that image with your channel.
I don't even know how to pronounce this guy's name, but
Zentox.
Zentox, I don't know. He says, how do you make thumbnails?
Ooh.
With
Ooh.
the internet.
Plenty of ways.
Yeah, that's actually a nice thing is there are plenty of programs out there. If you guys don't have Photoshop, which most people probably buy and use, there's great programs like GIMP or Paint.net. I think it's getpaint.net is the website to go for it.
Picmonkey.com.
Yeah.
Specifically, for all of mine, I actually use PicMonkey.com to get the quality of my thumbnails that I use. So
Yeah, so there are plenty of free programs to edit the photo, but in terms of actual style, and maybe you have the skills to make the thumbnails, maybe you don't. I mean, I try to do them, and it comes out in some weird blurry rainbow every time, so I hand it over to Jenna, and now it looks better.
Yeah, so... all right, so for those of you that aren't artistic, I actually have an awesome piece of advice.
Keep it simple.
Well, yes, there is that. But get a friend or a fan who is artsy and get them to make you an overlay. And what an overlay is going to be is it's going to be just a couple of corners or banner across the bottom or whatever with a consistent part of what your thumbnails are going to be, and have them make the background transparent, okay? So if they know about these artsy programs, they know what that means. They're going to save it as either a PNG or a GIF. And then once you have that overlay, every time you make a new video, you just grab an eye-catching screenshot from the video. You're going to kick up the contrast on that, slap the overlay on, and you're done. So it doesn't have to be something that takes you a lot of time every time. For instance, with all the Social Blade thumbnails, I keep a bunch of, and I use Photoshop, I keep a bunch of PSD files as templates, and so I just put the new images in them every time. But other than that, I'm not recreating the whole thing every time.
Yeah, so that's nice and easy. I mean, there's really nothing that needs to be done other than change a few detailed things. Alex came back with another question. How do I approach brands for endorsements?
Ooh.
Well, what about letting them approach you when your channel's ready?
Yeah,
That's also an option too.
I do a lot of product reviews on my main Sonic Corp Studios channel, and I found that, from the start, I would have to buy products and review them, but after I got that, they would approach me. And in fact, I constantly get emails now about people saying, hey, would you review this product? We will send it to you for free, or maybe we'll send it to you for a few weeks and you use it. And of course, that's fantastic. So, I mean, once you build your channel at a point, people will find you, and that's where you want to be.
Yeah.
And you can take that a step further. I've actually had a company send me headphones, and then I'll raffle those out on my channels and get some engagement and exposure from that.
Awesome wood headphones.
Oh, man. They were the crazy, crazy small little earbud headphones, but they had HIF technology, which is harmonic interference-free stuff.
Ooh, fancy.
Ooh.
Dave has a pair of shiny wooden headphones. He has the image saved on his desktop, and he keeps looking at them.
Wow.
Yeah, the company contacted me. They're like, would you want to review some of our headphones? Here's the website. And it's like shiny gloss wood. I emailed them back, and they didn't
Wow.
reply. So, yeah, I'm
Well, what if you got a lighter in your pocket?
no,
You got these headphones in your pocket, I mean,
firewood
it's a bit bad.
headphones. No, not at all.
Electronics? Nah. In my ears? Definitely not. I'm going to go with a no.
Oh, goodness. You'd be like, no, you'll get like a really good beat of music, and then they'll burst into flames, and you better take a selfie real fast.
I mean, this beat is so hot, guys. This beat is so hot, you don't even know. It lit my ears on fire.
It's
Well-
smoking.
And if there's ever like a worldwide EMP, you've got kindling with you on your ears,
Yeah, seriously.
right?
Right there. Ready to go.
Yeah, interesting. They are. They're.
Oh, boy.
It's interesting, all the new gadgets. So, but back to the branding. I'm actually keeping us on topic instead of rabbit trailing myself. All right, so we have a question directly for John from Nightcall. It says, John, why do you make such good music?
And he also put that in all caps lock.
All
just
caps.
for you.
So it's like screaming,
Wow.
but I'm not going to scream it at you.
Oh, man. I could say the same about a lot of people. And I guess it just falls down to inspiration. Like Nightcall, I think I've heard of that name. That's kind of familiar.
So
I think he makes music too.
What is your inspiration, actually? It's a good question. Is it like
Well,
Kevin MacLeod, or
it's
just
part of.
something horrible?
It's more like That would be a good way of going with it, but it went the other way, where mostly it's kind of in my name, solar. I'm really into the solar system, the stars and all that stuff, and I gain a lot of inspiration from that. And then being out here in the nature, I mean, there's some beautiful views, the stars and the mountains, and put the headphones on, work on some music, look at that, and it all feels about right. Something's done. So I get a lot of inspiration from nature, really. Yep.
Cool. Yeah, we had Kevin on last week.
Not last week,
Or
a
was it
couple weeks ago.
A couple weeks ago, and
Yep.
what was his inspiration again? It was
His inspiration was hatred.
how could you?
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That hurt me as a musician on the inside.
I know. I was like, are you sure we're going to go with that? We're not going to change our answer here? But no, Kevin MacLeod's inspiration is hatred.
So if you guys are
All right, my inspiration will be love. It can be polar opposite music series
Okay.
here.
All right.
But yeah, if you guys are
Fantastic.
interested in that, after the show, you can go watch. We'll have a playlist for all of these live casts. You can go back and watch the one with K-Mac.
Yeah.
And then you can go to his website too and view his music, and then go to Solar Heavy's website. Solarheavy.com.
Yes, indeed.
I was instructed that we must plug this a few times.
You
Solarheavy.com.
plug it.
Well, and also Solar Heavy's music is royalty free, so you can use it.
Ooh, that's fancy.
Yes.
Yes. And I know you also mentioned about using like NASA's pictures. I think this is a little known fact. I don't know. Did you know this, Dave, that any of the images or music or video clips that come from a government agency, they're public domain. You can use them.
All public domain. Awesome.
Prelinger archives, people.
Yes.
Google the Prelinger archives. Tons of free, great stuff that you can get. I've used actually vocal samples in there for some of my music.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a few samples like that.
Anything from NASA or anything from like any of the bases down in Antarctica, you can get just incredible images and like little videos and stuff. It's amazing.
Yeah, very, very helpful for anything for stock footage or whatever you need to do.
Yes.
Okay, so here's a really interesting question. Going back to the branding, now they direct it, John. This is from Arcana. We're going to go with. Not only is logo branding important, but as a musician, isn't branding a specific sound in your tracks important as well?
Wow. Yes. Standing out from the ocean of other musicians is seriously important. And it can actually reflect on your channels and other things too. You'll notice if you're standing out. People will mention it. They'll tell you. If you sound similar to another artist, they're going to let you know, and they're going to really like that. And then if you sound similar and add your own little thing on top of that, then they're going to come back. They want more. And that's great. And of course, all music is subjective. So, people will love it and people will hate it. But, as long as you can keep the majority of the people coming back and enjoying what they like to hear, you can kind of develop a signature sound based on the feedback and what people are saying and how you're feeling about the music as you're making it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's very important.
Let's go over something here that's probably really important is where should your music be posted once it's created? Because there's so many sites out there. Do you post it to just one or just a group? So, John, where do you actually share your music? What media sources do you upload?
So one of the best places to upload is probably one of the most familiar ones, which is SoundCloud. They're doing a lot of cool new stuff with the way that they're going to be releasing new platforms for general users and users who also pay monthly. So it's really good to get on there as soon as you possibly can. And you can kind of treat that or your YouTube as like a home base to send all your other pages that aren't audio and music related. You can send people right there, like your Facebook, your Twitter, all these places like that. And as long as you just upload it at one good spot and let that spot just grow over time, you can just plaster that link everywhere else. So try just sticking with SoundCloud and YouTube at first, and that's really the main two that you really want to go with.
Yeah, but then
Besides
word
distribution.
Distributing it throughout the website and so all these media sources is definitely important. So don't just put it on YouTube or SoundCloud and just be done with it, guys. The more places that eyeballs and traffic, and then you want to funnel them down to one location. Be it if you host a website yourself that will be around for years on end, or even SoundCloud should be around for years on end. That's where you want to send people.
I do want to mention there is, I guess, a rumor going around that if you can find like any sort of audio on SoundCloud, that it's free to use on your YouTube videos. Now, is that true for all music on SoundCloud, John?
Ooh, that's tough. When you go to upload audio onto SoundCloud, you get a list of various options for the copyrights and the licensing and how you want to present it to the public. They have everything from Creative Commons to affiliation rights to full retainment of all your rights. So I'm not too sure if that would work as like a blanket license type deal where any audio could just be used, because individual tracks can retain certain individual rights to themselves. So I'm going to go with no on that one.
Yeah, so when you guys go on SoundCloud, you do have to look into the source of the music, the details of each uploaded track, and make sure it is marked for something like Creative Commons attribution, meaning you have to credit like Incompetech and all these sites do. But yeah, just looking at the details on that, because we get a lot of people that say, hey, I got it from SoundCloud, it's perfect and it should be fine, right? And it turns out, no, not always.
No, you do. Oh, gosh. This copyright thing. Man.
It's a long... Saying it in the description is also not okay. We've been over that.
I did not intend to break copyright, so it doesn't mean I'm breaking copyright. No, not true. Not true at all. You get that a lot.
It's best, just contact the creator themselves. Usually you'll see an email in the description, or you can just drop a message right on SoundCloud. And, if you're polite and professional with the message, chances are they're going to be more than happy to give you the music to use and get a little exposure from that, and it's a win-win situation for everyone.
Yeah. So, besides royalty-free sites, and people like John, remember, you guys can always find new musicians that are out there, people who are starting off, who have a sound you like, and contact them if you want to use their music. They probably are not only happy for you to use what they've already done, they may be willing to even, maybe write, your 5-second intro so that you have that sound branding on your channel and it's from somebody that you like.
Definitely. We get one last question. Let's see, John, what do you think is the best method to release tracks? Is it trying to release singles, an EP, or an album? And which one gives you the most impact and the most views? You have a quick answer.
Let's see. Yeah, well, first you would probably want to start off with doing some free downloads, because you want to bring the people in to, introduce them to your music freely, be polite, let them get a feel for what you're up to. And slowly over time, as you're building up a fan base, pull back on your releases. Don't always just release track after track after track. I'm just now, after a year under this artist name, doing my first 6-track album that I plan on releasing in the next few months. So, it's taken a while to get to that point. You don't just want to immediately start off making people wait, and you don't want to immediately start off making people pay money either. You got to work into those type of things.
Great. So that is going to put a close to our show, guys. We thank you for actually showing up. And once again, got to thank all of the regulars as well as the new people that have showed up this week. We hope to see you back here next week as well. We try to do this weekly, unless something crashes and burns and explodes.
We have had that, but it's always been Friday night before the show so we can go out and get new equipment.
This is true. But anyway, guys, give us a like on this video. Comments are always welcome down below, and we do our best to read and answer anything that comes up. And other than that, if you haven't hit that subscribe button, it's very powerful. You should probably do it. See what happens.
Yes.
And it's magical.
It is. It is a magical
Very
button.
magical button.
And don't forget, guys, if you ever have any questions about your YouTube channel, about how to use Social Blade to grow your channel, you can always go to our website, socialblade.com. There's a big green support ticket button on the bottom of every page they go to.
Is it bright green like this?
It's actually brighter green than that. And they go to this guy, and he answers them. If he can't answer them, he sends them on to us. And you can also book yourselves a free 15-minute initial consultation with me on how to grow your
Not
YouTube
before,
channel.
after me, though. After me. First me, and then everyone else can go ahead and book theirs. I got to book mine first, though.
Well,
Sorry.
you better go there and book it then.
All right, guys, I got to go. Sorry, it's been a fun show, but I got to go book this.
Thank you so much to John from Solar Heavy for joining us, and we'll see you guys next week.
Happy birthday, Danny.
All right, guys.
Bye.